Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the HIT.OR.DIE podcast. We are here April 19th, 2021 with the best hosts out there, Jake Saldati and Chad Rothford. We are here still. We're just really busy. We have real jobs and we are real coaches
or just coaches,
and we are real parents and we just have a lot of crap going on. Like this week destroyed me with City. We had 6 games in 6 days. It was ridiculous. And I also had to wake up at 3 a.m. and go to work. Yeah, because Saturday doubleheader, Monday we had practice, Tuesday night game in Merced, Wednesday night game in, at City, Thursday off, Friday doubleheader in Taft, which is 3 hours away. We had to leave at 7 a.m. And then I had T-ball on Saturday. I was beat. I'm honestly glad we don't play till Friday this week, which is going to be huge for us. We got Reedley in a doubleheader at home.
Well, let's start with Fresno City. You guys 3-3, all league games thus far.
Yeah, we everybody's playing 24 league games and then 4 non-league, which will be Saracoso, which would normally be in the league in a normal year. But Saracoso's agreed to travel and play everybody 4 times.
So you guys just go 3-1 last week, split with Merced, and double up to Taft on Friday for 2 wins. And again, this week, big one. Yeah, so good. I mean, good week for you guys. I mean, I think the Tuesday game was kind of a knock in the teeth. Wednesday game.
Tuesday, we went down to Merced and did good. And then Wednesday, they came and gave it right back to us in a 17-6 game.
That's why you play them, though, yeah?
Yep. And then we went down to Taft and, in my opinion, did what we were supposed to do. Unfortunate Taft is down with pitching, and that's really tough when you're playing 4 games a week. But yeah, we went and played really good baseball, and we're going to have a really good week of practice this week before our doubleheader against Reedley.
Yeah, and again, big series there. And Reedley College is off to a good start, 5-1, 3-1 in conference, and they split with COS last week. So yeah, again, big series this week at City. Friday
doubleheader at 1.
Reedley College in Fresno City. And then COS also 5-1, 3-1 in conference. Like I said before, they split with Reedley last week, and they'll be taking on Merced this week, who's 1-3 right now overall. So junior college baseball is underway. Lots of baseball going on. You had the Coke Classic last week, which we'll get into. And again, a lot of college stuff. Bakersfield, who was not playing there for a couple weeks, is back in action, and they're sitting 11-8 right now, 8-4 in conference. Split with UC Davis a couple weekends ago in a 4-game series, and they won their last series this last weekend at Hawaii, and they'll be back on the road this weekend at San Diego for 4 games. So just nice to see them back playing on the field. And I know Sac State was canceled there when they went to
They're going to go to Creighton, yeah.
And currently 22-10, 14-6, yeah. Having a great year. I think they were flirting with the top 25 there for a little while.
I think they got in.
Or did they get in?
I think they got in.
Lost a 4-game series this last weekend to Seattle at home too. That's probably a tough one. But they'll be back at Northern Colorado this coming weekend. So keep an eye on Sac State. And then FPU, man, just flipped a switch and has been hot lately. Currently 15-13, 11-9 in conference, and won 8 of the last 10 games. And over the weekend, I think winning at Academy of Art took over first place. And I think they're hosting this week against Holy Names, doubleheader Thursday at FPU against Holy Names. So nice to see FPU kind of turning things around there, especially coming down the stretch. And back to Fresno State softball. They're just killing it. They continue to roll. 10 straight wins, 11-1 in the Mountain West. And there's a couple teams. Nevada's right there, UNLV's right there, and that's who their next couple series are against. They're sitting at 27-7 overall, and again 11-1 in Mountain West. Big series this weekend at Margie Wright Diamond versus Nevada. a doubleheader Saturday and doubleheader Sunday. And next week, again, another monster series at UNLV. So both those teams are 1, 2, 3 in the Mountain West. So keep an eye out for Fresno State softball. And this past weekend, we'll get into the Bulldogs. They're sitting 10-18 overall, 7-11 in conference. The Dogs dropped this weekend's home series to San Diego State, and it's just kind of how quickly you can get humbled, or just this game, what it can do in just the course of a couple of innings. You know what? Honestly, because I went to Saturday night's game, and I got there just as game one was ending, but I was listening to it. They were up like 9-5. And in the 8th inning, San Diego State tacked on like 7 and went from a game 1 win to, deflated probably there for a minute. And they ended up losing, I think, 12-11 in game 1 and come back, win game 2. Jake Dixon, Sanger High School, pitched really well, actually. That's the game we stayed for, went 7. They had some big hits. They kind of answered run for run with San Diego State and win game 2, 5-3. And then yesterday, Sunday, in game 3 to win the series, things were looking pretty darn good. And you would think 14 runs should win a ball game. Hell, even 9 runs, game 1. And the Dogs are up 14-5 after 5 innings. And San Diego State just comes back with kind of a vengeance and wins 21-14. It's like, you know what? I don't know if there were any ejections, but at some point I'm probably getting tossed just so I don't have to watch it anymore.
Yeah, that's San Diego State posted some of the highlights of all their runs being down what they were, and it was just like hit after hit after hit after hit after hit, and it's tough. It's tough, especially being on defense. I think it's hard being on defense when and I'm not sure if the pitchers were throwing strikes or walking guys or how it all.
I know there was game 1, there were some errors that played into it. And I know there was a call late. I didn't really get to talk to any of I talked to Pat for just a brief moment, but I think there was a situation in that first game that kind of extended the inning and led to some runs and that's baseball, I guess. But you got to look at it as an offense, right? I mean, you explode against the number 1 team in the Mountain West, and for whatever reason, they can't hang on to some leads there. Cause I mean, look at it. It could have been a potential sweep.
Yeah. And I mean, the offense is going, the offense is going, and you would think that many runs would win ball games. But it just goes to show you an error here or there, or a walk here or there, it comes back to bite you in the ass, That's why good defense and strong pitching is really needed at the Division I level, or any level for that matter.
Yeah, and they'll keep going. They go. I think they're at San Jose State this weekend for a 4-game series. So, and then they'll be back, I believe, against Reno. There are fans allowed. I know that there was a website posted. Right? Yeah, you can buy some tickets. So just be on the lookout for Dogs tickets, both softball and baseball. Go out and support the Dogs if you can. I got to thank Coach Gonzalez for helping me out with some tickets over the weekend. We got to go and see Saturday night's game, so that was pretty awesome. I appreciate that. And the catcher, shout out the catcher for giving
was it Morgan?
Yeah, gave Sammy a baseball, so she was all jacked up about. In fact, she ended up sleeping with it in bed all night with her baseball. So thanks to that. To those guys for helping us out and getting us in there. But go support the Dogs if you can. On the high school front, you have Madera South, who's off to a 9-0 start. And I think currently number 1 in Division IV per PAG meters rankings, won the Central Valley Diamond Classic, beating Sanger 6-1. So congratulations to the Stallions. And then Monache went and won the 2nd annual Mills Vote Championship, hosted by, I believe, is it CVC and is it multiple teams in that? I'm not sure.
I know Marshall tends to put the advertising out there. I'm not sure if it's.
And that's who our guest is going to be today. We'll talk to Shane Marshall, head coach at CVC, about that tournament and some of the things they went through there. But congrats to Monache. They beat Exeter 12-6. And then our very own tournament we played in, hosted by Clovis High School and Chris Patrick, the Coca-Cola Classic, Buchanan is the 2021 champs, beating San Joaquin Memorial 7-2 on Saturday. And they went 5-1 in the tournament, only loss being to Bullard. And they're currently 10-1 overall. And I think I saw today Cal High's got them up in the top 5, maybe I think it was 4 in the state.
PBR ranked them, I think, 1 in the state.
So they are a loaded ball club. We get to see them on Saturday at Mel Parker Field here in Madera. So looking forward to that, seeing those guys up close in person. Very, very good baseball team. Very well coached baseball team. It'd be good for our guys just to see. We had a good tournament. 3-3 for us. We'll take it. Guys playing multiple sports, basketball and football, and 2 different occasions, not having starters being able to play. Yeah, I thought our kids actually played and battled pretty hard, and we'll take a 3-3. Again, that was a solid tournament for us. So, and thanks to CP, man. I know that's been a weird start to the year, and everybody's had to adjust and adapt to scheduling and where you can go and where you can't go. So I did see Buchanan kind of post something after the game regarding an MVP. And for whatever reason, I think Clovis High, they didn't have a post-game deal. Who cares though, right?
Buchanan cared.
How do you feel about that? Just thoughts.
I mean, whoever's running the Twitter for Buchanan, kind of the way I took it as reading it was like a jab
at Clovis,
or Chris Patrick.
Well, and I saw Chris responded to it, and it was, yeah. I mean, it's a little, kind of on both sides of the fence on that one.
Yeah, I just thought the way, we're not gonna have a ceremony. Your attention, we're doing our own and naming our own MVP was kind of bush league a little bit. And then Chris Patrick commented on it. You're giving 2 opportunities to select an MVP late in the ball game. We asked both teams. So Chip Henderson, best announcer around, could announce it. You chose to wait, maybe not to jinx the win or whatever, but sorry about no ceremony, trying to keep everyone safe. Congrats.
Which I understand that, 100%.
So,
but why didn't Buchanan respond to that? Whoever's running the Twitter, because Brad's not. It's not like Brad at all.
Well, let me see. No, it's not Fonts. Fonts doesn't run the Twitter, and I can't see the comments. So it's either somebody that blocked us or
surprise.
Yeah, but it's just like, Buchanan wins 7-2, but who decides the MVP anyways? Like, should it be one person from Buchanan, one person from Memorial? Should it be what about the stats of everybody in the tournament? What if somebody just had a ridiculous tournament?
And there was,
and
I don't want it to go unnoticed, but even Buchanan had multiple players have.
And nothing against Williams.
Not at all.
Williams had 12 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. He had a home run the game before.
I think 3 ribs.
But like they posted, he had 12 innings, 4 earned runs. Like that's an ERA of 3. Right? Was that what it came out?
Yeah.
That's not very good in high school baseball. Like if you're going to be a standout pitcher and just go through everybody, like to me, that's the way I feel. I feel like if you threw 12 innings, maybe 1 earned, then we're talking
for an MVP.
You're talking about MVP.
Okay.
But we also,
because he is legit.
He is good. He threw a complete game
against one of the best teams in the section. No question.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But you also have Max Bernal.
I was just making sure you were talking about the MVP part of that.
Yeah, the MVP part. Okay. I'm talking about the MVP. I'm not talking about the
kid
kid not being good.
Right.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to take anything away from him in that aspect. I'm just trying to say for MVP of the tournament,
right?
Not the MVP of the championship game.
Well, because like Becerra had a pretty legit tournament too.
Becerra, Bernal
combined for like 8 RBIs in 2 games, a couple home runs. Bernal had a really good tournament, couple home runs,
and pitched. Scoreless.
Yeah,
and got a win.
Yeah. So maybe there was more.
Yeah. Saldivar even from Memorial.
Well, and that's what I want to bring up. Like you're not a fan of the MVPs coming from the teams that win.
Unless it's deserving.
Sure.
Unless that dude had the best tournament out of anybody. That's what an all tournament is. It's the best player in that whole entire tournament, no matter what team.
Well, I just wanted to bring it because Saldivar hit 455 for the tournament. 3 doubles, 3 home runs, a triple, 12 ribbies, 9 runs, and 4 stolen bases
in 6 games.
In 6 games.
Yeah.
So, and I know we're in the same league, and we have a pretty good rivalry with those guys. I mean, they've gotten us pretty good as of late, but yeah, I mean, you just got to give credit where it's due. The guy raked, and who's to say he's not an MVP worthy?
Exactly. And that's what everybody kind of, thinks that we hate on people and all that. We only pretty much say facts and what we think. You might not agree, which is totally fine, but Saldivar maybe deserves it. Bernal, Becerra.
And there's probably
more guys from other teams too that we didn't have the stats from right away. We were just looking at the 2 championship teams.
And I'm following these guys on Twitter, and you're following scores. I mean, I'm sure McCurley had a pretty good tournament over at Central.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that.
And so yeah,
I mean, he went 5 for 5 in one game, and just with a homer. I think he might have had 2 or 3 homers, and that's another good point. You know what I mean? So it's like, do we do an MVP? Do we do an all tournament team?
It sounds like Chris gave them
Chris did give them the option. That's what even made me like, I saw the Buchanan tweet, and I'm like, I don't know if you should have gone there. And then I saw CP's tweet, and I'm like, okay, he gave him opportunities.
Yeah. Well,
so, but then the tweet almost called CP out for not having for not giving them a choice, which was kind of, Bush. So it's like
us having a Bush League podcast though.
Well, Bush is in general a baseball term. We had some Bush things happen in that baseball. But yeah, it's like kind of watch where you step a little bit. Like, make sure the facts.
I mean, if Chris, he's not going to deliberately, not put an MVP out there. Like, I know CP a long time.
Yeah.
And that's just not something he would have done deliberately to Buchanan, because it's Buchanan. That's just not Chris. So that's where I kind of threw me when you told me. I didn't even see it until you said something. But again, congratulations to all those guys. I mean, Buchanan sweeps the tourneys with Easter and the Coke Classic, and then again Madera South and Wenatchee. So yeah, I mean, congrats to those guys. I think we're about 2 weeks from starting the league. I don't know when the track starts, but it's going by fast already. So,
didn't we just find out there's going to be playoffs now?
Yeah, I saw that posted. Now, I don't know how that works with Central Coast or the Coast schools. Sorry, because I was under the impression before we even started that they had already from the get-go said, hey, we're opting out of playoffs, which who knows if that'll change because, like Arroyo, Paso, they're both having really good seasons. I think Arroyo's still undefeated, 9 or 10-0, and a very good ball club too. We got to see them last year and what they had coming back this year. It'd be kind of a shame for those guys not to play for something, but I don't know the answers to that or on that. But I do know I saw that playoffs are going to happen. Again, I don't know how that affects the CIF's ruling on us playing LD, the Visalia schools or Hanford or Porterville or the Bakersfield schools. I don't know if that changes because I know our schedule had to change because we weren't allowed to play those guys. So yeah. I haven't seen any ruling on that. I just saw the playoffs are going to happen with the highest seeds being the home team. So we'll just have to wait to hear more, I guess, on what the CIF is going to allow teams to do.
Yeah. And getting to some of our big league guys, Brogdon has started off this season hot. I think with the first in franchise history, he went 3-0 in the first 6 games.
3 wins out of the pen.
Out of the pen, he's doing good. He's on.
He had a 0 ERA at the time. I don't know what it is right now, but
he's doing good. Also, we got his name up on the wall at City. That was really cool.
Yeah, saw that.
So shout out to his family. I know that's been a long time coming, and they put it up there. Luplo's on a tear.
Yeah, another bomb yesterday or day. It was yesterday.
Yesterday,
dead center.
6-2 game, and
now they were also in the news for getting no hit. Carlos
Rondon.
Yep.
Yeah, for the White Sox, that was. Didn't he give up the perfect game in that last inning too?
I don't know. I just saw the highlights.
He walked the guy or hit a guy or something.
I saw Abreu's play. And there was a couple lineouts, I think, finished the game, a couple hard hit balls. I mean, while we've been gone, Joe Musgrove also threw a no-hitter as well.
Yep. Which was that the first in Padres history?
Yes, it was the first against the Rangers, which is Luplo's boy.
Yep.
Go figure.
I think they room together. Or I know they work out together in San Diego, but I know they're really close. So
and then I saw you tweeted something on Dylan Lee.
Yeah, Dylan Lee looked like he got picked up by the Braves. Just posted a picture of a uniform in a locker. So
and is Marcus still with Boston's
Marcus
alternate?
at the alternate site. So
hopefully see him get moved up over there.
I'm sure soon, somebody's going to have some knick-knack or injury or, I think he's the first one up out of the bullpen wise to bring back to the big leagues. So it's coming. He'll be up there this year, just a matter of time. So,
and then we had another stupid, we also missed within like a week ago. I think it was the replay at home with Atlanta and Philly.
Oh, yeah.
That was 2 weeks with bad replay calls. Yeah. It's see if they clean it up a little bit. Again, another run that cost a win. Well, maybe potential win anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some MLB wrap up too with some of our guys. And then, you said the Dodgers and the Padres just finished up a pretty.
Yeah, Bauer got his first loss of the year yesterday.
What is it? What is your goal for that?
I don't know. I'm just want him to be his true self. So
loss or no decision.
I mean, it's fine, dude. He
was pretty dirty, man. Not that he,
just the Padres are good. So I'm glad the Padres, I think they only got one, but they play again next week for a 4-game series.
Yeah, that'll be eyes on that all year long.
Definitely.
Eyes on that.
That's a new rivalry that's going to be for a long time, I think.
100%. We're going to get to our guest here, Shane Marshall, the head coach at CVC in Visalia, to kind of talk about the tournament they just hosted. So stick around. We're back with Shane Marshall.
Everybody, welcome back to the Hit.OR.DIE podcast. We have CVC head coach Shane Marshall on the Zoom with us. Shane, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll get right into the Mills Voigt tourney. We were talking earlier about how the idea came about and who you and you have another coach, the Exeter coach that helps put it on.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Kirkman and I kind of came up with the idea for running this tournament. I think he kind of had it in his back pocket for a little while. And both of us were always kind of in the Emmanuel preseason tournament that they did that since, since I played here in 2010. So, and then that tournament folded at the beginning of last year. And so Kevin and I just got together and, thought about what we could do to put on a tournament that kind of showcased the South Valley, teams, especially teams in the lower division, Division 4, 5, and 6. And we decided to name it after, each of us have big league alumni, Brad Mills coming from Exeter, Stephen Vogt coming from here. And so what better place to kind of show some pride and showcase our teams and be able to put on this preseason tournament that's turned into a pretty good deal the past 2 years.
Yeah. How many teams you guys host in it?
So last year it was 12 teams. There was a Mills bracket and a Vogt bracket, which was nice. We kind of got, one team was kind of focused on the Exeter host site and the other team was focused on CVC host site. This year with COVID and all the mess, it was kind of a struggle to fill out. We had 9 teams sitting for a really long time, and a 9-team schedule is kind of tough to make for a tournament. So we, Bakersfield Christian, luckily was looking for some games and they jumped in and filled it out to 10 teams this year.
So then speaking of scheduling, I know we had some issues with the Code Classic and also with the Easter Classic. Pappy had some scheduling conflicts with, who the CIF and counties and stuff. Did you guys have to battle the same thing?
Yeah. So there's, for starters, there's that 2-county rule right now where you can't play a team that's 2 counties away. So that made some tough matchups between, say, Fresno Christian couldn't play any of the Kern County schools that we had coming in. We actually had to drop Morro Bay from a tournament this year, which they were great for a tournament last year. We actually played them in the final day last year, and they're a great team that's going to be great in Division 4 again. But unfortunately, they could only play 2 of the 10 teams that we had in our tournament, so we had to drop them from it this year. And then just kind of, the rules as far as getting the host sites cleared, we had to space out games far enough to allow the proper, sanitation, cleaning, not wanting kind of fans from teams A and B crossing with teams C and D. So it's just a lot more care put into the schedule this year. Kind of took away I think the fun part of the tournament where, you're showing up and watching the game before you happening. You get to see the last couple innings or you stick around after your game and, get something from the snack bar and watch the game after you. But still, regardless, we're just happy that we got it in and had a really competitive tournament this year.
Sounds like it's a little bit more serious down south than it was up here.
Yeah,
was there any protocols?
I mean,
the cocaine.
Yeah, I guess there was. You could probably get away with a little bit more. I don't know.
That just seems like a lot more on a coach's plate to have to worry about.
I know for us, we had to take multiple buses when our teams played. Our JV squad had their own bus and each kid to his seat. So there was 2 different buses, and that was kind of different for travel purposes. But I mean, as far as the people regulating things, I didn't see a whole lot. No.
Yeah.
But that was at every site. Mm-hmm. So
no, I'm not just saying, yeah, you guys are guilty.
You guys also got to use Rawhide. How was that? You guys played there over the weekend, right?
Yeah. So it actually wasn't initially intended to be part of the tournament. But after playing there, I'm certainly going to be giving them a call next year, and it's got to become an every year thing. We just happened to, during the Easter tournament, the Tulare Visalia Pro PT Invitational, they wound up using it. And then after a couple of games happened there, I had some parents reach out and say, hey, how do we get to play a game there? And luckily a couple of parents stepped up and fronted the cost for that. So we wound up getting to play there kind of in the 3rd, 4th place game against Taft. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, it had big game feel. Us and Taft have gone back and forth. We took one on the road there in 9 innings last year, and then they walked off on us earlier this year. So it was kind of a game 3 rubber match, and they allowed up to 500 people in that ballpark.
Sweet.
I think there was over 300 there. About 250 of them were probably associated with the school. About 50 of them were there to give me a hard time. So that was fun. But no, it was really sweet being a part of that. And then the championship game happened right down the road over at Lions Stadium over in Exeter, between Exeter and Wenatchee. So
is that their division opponent too, correct? Taft?
Yeah. Taft is D4, Wenatchee's D4, Exeter's D4. So and then kind of all the top 4 teams were in D4.
You got Madera South on a roll right now in Division 4. That's going to be interesting to see come down the stretch.
That's going to be a big time playoff right there.
Yeah, it is.
D4 playoffs.
Now, have you heard anything? Because we saw the announcement of playoffs is going to happen. I know we were under the impression that some of the coast schools had opted out of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Have you, as the head coach, have you heard any news on how that's going to work with being able to transfer or play multiple counties away, or, Bakersfield Division 2, but right now we couldn't play them. Same with Redwood and LD.
I haven't heard anything official right now. The speculation, I think, between guys that have done it for a while is that more than ever, playoffs, at least the early rounds, are going to be regional. Typically CIF tries to keep you pretty close, especially for those first 2 rounds, to try to get a bigger gate. So I could see that happening even more so, just trying to keep counties within counties. It's going to be unfortunate because I think some teams might end up with much tougher matchups early on. But I think, kind of the feeling that I'm getting from other coaches right now is they're going to try to minimize a lot of those early round big travel games by keeping everything, a lot tighter. So, personally for us, I would predict us maybe getting an Exeter or, like a Sierra Pacific in the first round of a playoff, even though, seating wise, maybe normally we would say face a Chowchilla or Liberty Madera or something like that. That's just kind of the speculation right now. I don't think anything's been said officially on that.
Yeah, looks like we'll just have to keep waiting to see what happens. Any teams that you've seen, especially D3, D4, 5-ish, that kind of surprised you that our audience could, go check on and deserve some credit or some due?
Yeah, I'd certainly first off say keep an eye on Taft and Menachie in D4. Both are incredibly well coached teams. Matt Davis over at Taft and AJ Watts does a great job over in Menachie. Well disciplined. I don't think either team made maybe but one error through the 3 games that we saw them, and then they hit the ball and they throw strikes. Bakersfield Christian is going to be really good down the stretch. I heard that they got a couple transfers from Garces and Stockdale, and I heard that there's a Toby Twist kid that's committed to Oregon that's legit that'll be eligible here in a couple weeks. So they're going to be really good down the stretch. Even lower, Lindsay, I think they bumped up to D5 this year, but Coach Kindig has done a great job there. They're probably they gave us a run for our money last weekend, and I think they 2-hit us in a 4-2 game, and they're going to be really good. They got a couple arms and a real good catcher. So, the lower divisions are stacked. I think Division 4 is probably the deepest top to bottom in the Valley this year. I mean, I think we have 8 to 9 teams that, any team could win the championship this year and no one would be shocked. There's a lot of teams, I think, in our division that probably shouldn't be in our division. I think a lot of teams that are much larger than the rest of the group have been given permission for one reason or another to drop down. And I guess that's maybe a conversation for another day.
Well, that's something you guys kind of have to battle year in and year out. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's the competitive equity thing. It gets frustrating at some point because, we dealt with the same thing here at CVC before I was here. When I was here in high school, we were D4, and then I graduate and they go down to D5 and they go to 3 straight Valley championships. And then we go back up and now we're back in the middle of the pack. And really that's what it should be, right?
Right.
I mean, you typically should be in the middle of your pack. But then these teams, they're in the middle of the pack for so long and then they drop down and they're immediately in the championship picture. I struggle with teams being given that permission. But like I said, that's an argument for.
Well, and then I guess the flip side to that too is also, and again, another rival of ours is Madera South's a very large enrollment, playing in Division 4. But again, you talk about competitive equity and, that's where they're at. So, and I know they're going to realign divisions here, I think in the next year or two or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that problem should go away next year when they institute that new rule on postseason division alignment. Not giving your division till the end of the year, which, again, we'll see how that goes. I'm sure there's flaws in any system. So
absolutely. Talk a little bit about your team. One, you guys have some legit unis. I love your guys' uniform. I love your Twitter posts. But talk a little bit about the Cavaliers in 2021.
Yeah, no, this is the most fun I've ever had with a team. I'm sure that's the normal thing to say when you talk about your team at the beginning of the year, but I really do love this group. And I think, we're an incredibly deep team and we're young, which is a fun combination. I haven't had the luxury in the past. I think a lot of times when you get in these lower divisions, you got your 2 or 3 baseball dudes and you got your 4 or 5 guys that are good at and like playing baseball. And then you got your 3 or 4 guys that like to be on the team, and it makes lineup decisions really easy. But, we got 13, 14 guys on this year's roster that all of them are competing for a job every single day. And that's been a lot of fun. Been a lot of headaches, and having to think a little extra hard about who's hitting where and whatnot. But it's been a lot of fun. We got, some great leadership. We got senior Carson Pimentel, hit 403 as a sophomore, tore his knee apart in his last at bat and missed all of last year. And so it's been really great having him back hitting in our 3 spot, having a lot of success. We got a couple young arms. Luke Giada has been phenomenal on the mound. We got a young catcher, Brant Munger, who's going to do a lot of really great things. And I'm just excited with what we're doing so far. We've played really tight with our division teams. We had that great win against Sanger that, I think says a lot about the potential of this team and just working on keeping the trajectory and peaking at the right time.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. You're getting hot at the right time. But again, playing those tight games, playing
playing better competition earlier on too
For sure.
helps out when you get to the playoff time.
That's the thing that, I have to remind our group, we dropped one to Taft the other day even, and, reminding these kids that there's not very many wins that I remember from my life from the months of March and April, but man, you usually remember the wins that you have in May and June, pretty well. So, using these moments, these early months to just learn and trying to have those memorable games at the end of the year.
Yeah, 100%. Just want to win the last one.
It's tough to do.
And you guys, that area, honestly, Visalia, that area never gets enough probably love as it should, with the Redwoods. And I know they went back to back in D2 a couple of years back. Mount Whitney followed it up with one. LD's played in it and lost. I think they even lost. I want to say who they played. It was Memorial, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, there's some really good baseball in the area. Having to compete with even those public schools too, I'm sure is got its moments.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's we're kind of outside all of them, but also we're in the mix of all of them. And, we don't see them very often. That's kind of one of the goals of mine over the next couple of years is I think we're going to be deep enough to maybe, get some games on the schedule with them. Because ultimately, you guys know, it comes down to pitching. You got to have the arms that can get you through that game and get you through the rest of the week, because you can't play that game at the expense of the rest of your week. But yeah, no, it's a hotbed here for sure. And everyone knows everybody, which is a lot of fun, and it's cool seeing people in the community pulling for each other. And that's one thing that I've kind of been surprised by, but there's not a lot of rivalry between our school and the public schools here in town, which maybe I'm ignorant of, but I see kids, from the public schools retweeting when their buddy gets a shout out on Twitter or whatever. And I think that that's really cool that, we could kind of both have our own lanes and both, be in support of each other as a community too.
Yeah, no, it goes a long way, man.
You're just not recruiting enough.
Right. That's a no word around here. So
that's too good right there. Well, no, Coach, I thank you for joining us, giving us a couple minutes of your day today. I know it's middle of the day on a Monday. You guys are in school, but wanted to talk about your tournament, showcase you guys, and I've seen you guys are off to a really good start, and you've been actually a really great supporter of ours, and we've tried to do this in the past. I just appreciate you last minute kind of jumping on and talking with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep doing what you guys do. It's really awesome. Coaching education's become a big passion of mine, and unfortunately, not a lot of people have all the resources to go to all these clinics or whatever. So the fact that you guys just constantly pump out information that we all have in our pockets, Automobile University, turn it on and you're in the car and get that education. So I really appreciate what you guys do for everyone around here.
And no, thank you very much. And good luck to you guys going forward the rest of the way. And everybody keep an eye out for Division 4. It's going to be fun to watch in CVC.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Coach. Dude, that's nice to have finally get some guys that we haven't talked to yet that have been big supporters of ours. Just thanks to Coach Marshall for that. And again, there is some going to be some fun matchups there in D4. We'll just have to see where those games go. And again, congratulations to all the tournament champions, Monache, Madera South, and the Buchanan Bears for being the 2021 Coke Classic champs. We'll have to figure out when we'll be back on here next. We might do it again. I think we got some college guys that we're going to try to get on the next couple of weeks, but just stay tuned. We'll keep you posted as we put the stuff out. And again, thanks everybody for listening to the podcast. Please go check it out on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, subscribe here on YouTube. And that is the Hit or Die podcast.
Hit or Die.